Hitesh Oberoi, the co-promoter, MD and CEO at InfoEd, joins us on the show right now. Hitesh, wish you a very happy new year. Your company has been one of the best performers of 2019. So clearly, last year has been happy. But tell us if the year ahead is going to be as fabulous or not.
Thank you so much, and wishing all of you a great 2020 as well. You're absolutely right. The last couple of years have been great for us. I mean, the stock has done well, but more importantly, the businesses have also sort of moved to the next level. We've been investing aggressively in all our verticals: jobs, real estate, matrimony, and education, and it's starting to show results. Of course, our investments have also done well, so we're not complaining. But yes, things have slowed down in the last few months. Month on month, we've been seeing our growth declining, both in jobs and in real estate. And it's got to do with the fact that the slowdown, which started with a few sectors, is now spreading and almost everybody's impacted.
Two of your main verticals, Hitesh, are closely linked, as you mentioned just now, to the economy's performance, which has been the poorest now in many years. So what's the outlook then going forward? For Naukri, for 99 acres, are you seeing any signs of green shoots?
Not at the moment. Like I said, things have slowed down for us in the last few months. So initially the slowdown was, restricted to a few sectors like telecom and real estate and infrastructure. But then over time, it has spread to other sectors like banking and financial services, insurance, and other services as well. And lately, we've also picked up, some signs of distress in the startup space, and that's sort of a little new. But I guess that will also sort of, become a problem going forward. So, on the whole, there are some storm clouds gathering on the horizon. I hope they clear over the next couple of months. So if it's a temporary slowdown, 1 or 2 quarters, it's not going to impact our business. Also what is different about this slowdown from maybe the last time we experienced something like this 10 years ago is that it's been very gradual. And it's not a sudden slowdown. It's not as if people didn't see it coming. It's been, things have been slowing down quarter on quarter for the last few quarters. So it's not as if companies have built up a lot of capacity. So we are still not expecting companies to lay off people or anything of that sort to happen. And we are all hopeful that there'll be a gradual recovery going forward. But right now things are slow in jobs for sure. In real estate, things have been slow for the last 7-8 years. It's just that we were growing, and we were growing because revenue was moving from offline media to online media. So we were benefiting because of that secular trend. But the real estate sector has been quite badly impacted because of various sort of changes that have taken place in the economy, starting with RERA, demonetization, GST, et cetera. And it'll be some time before that sector begins to recover. Maybe another a year or so before sort of things settle down on that front.
Can Naukri continue to see yearly growth run rate in the vicinity of the high teens to about 20%?
If the economy grows at 5% per annum, it'll be hard to sustain those kind of growth rates. Because the truth is that when things start to slow down, companies start cutting down on hiring, they start sort of cutting down on ad spend. So some of these things get impacted first. Expansion plans are put on hold. Attrition rates also starts going down in companies because employees are no longer sure of their prospects in the job market. So if the slowdown is a 1 or 2 quarter slowdown, we will recover very quickly, and things may not slow down that much for us because a lot of our contracts are annual contracts and they come up for renewal only at the end of the year. But if it's a sustained slowdown, then of course our growth rates will be impacted significantly going forward.
Okay. Want to talk about 99 acres, Hitesh, in specific. Is there any improvement finally coming in for the real estate market, or you think this is another prolonged slowdown for real estate with very high unsold inventories, and you see 2020 as well pan out the same way?
See, what is beginning to happen is that the unsold inventory in the new home market is beginning to sort of go down a bit, and that's because new launches have been impacted because of a lack of funding funding availability for developers. So we are not seeing a lot of new developers launch a lot of new projects, and therefore there is some buying activity. It's not as if the number of houses being sold are going through the roof. You know, there is, especially in certain markets and in certain segments, there is a slump, and that slump continues. But there is a little more activity in the affordable housing space in cities like Bombay and Bangalore. So we are seeing sort of some uptick there. And therefore, as a result of this activity increasing slightly, plus a lack of new launches, the number of houses which are unsold is slowly beginning to go down. Maybe another year or so before unsold inventory reaches a level which is healthy for the economy. And I'm also hopeful that, you know, maybe in a year from now, all these funding issues will also get sorted out, and a lot more funding will be available for developers and buyers of real estate. And then hopefully the market will start to pick up once again.
Okay, you know, on your investments, some of them are just ripe for monetization. So any of these possibly materializing in the next fiscal? Any plans there?
You know, we are long-term investors. We would rather stay invested than divest if the company is doing well. There is no pressure on us. You know, we don't have a fund which has a life, and we don't have to return money to any LPs. So, you know, if the company is doing well and there is a lot of opportunity, you know, we would rather stay invested than divest.
And there are concerns expressed by investors that Zomato hasn't raised meaningful new money now, you know, for about a year, and the burn continuing to be at about $300 million in FY20, that's the expectation. What's the plan to address this? Will there be further funding needs? Will InfoEdge be willing to put more money into Zomato?
You know, I don't think in this environment you can just bank on funding being available forever to the unicorns out there. So you have to attack the problem on several fronts. I think Zomato has done a great job of cutting its burn. They were burning $40 million a month a few months ago. Now they're burning about $17-18 million a month. So they've consciously cut their burn. They're also looking to raise money, and they're talking to a few investors as we speak. Let's see what happens on this front. But ultimately, you know, you have to sort of build a business model where you make money from your customers and not from your investors. And that's what all our investee companies and all the other companies out there are going to try and do over the next 12 to 18 months, in my view.
Can you give us some color on the other businesses like Jeevan Sathi and Policy Bazaar? How is the performance expected to pan out in the medium term?
Well, Jeevan Sathi has been, growing at a very good rate for us for the last couple of quarters. Once again, it's one market which is not really impacted by the slowdown. People still are getting married. And and we've been investing aggressively in this business and trying to gain share, and we've been we've done a good job of executing. So we've gained actually a lot of share. So while the overall market is growing at maybe 10-12% per annum, we've been growing our business at almost double that rate for the last couple of quarters now. So we are happy with the progress we made in Jeevan Sathi. But you know, at the end of the day, it's still a very small business for us, so it doesn't move the needle in any significant way. But in the long term, we are confident that we'll be able to build a very strong third vertical if we keep investing in this space for the next 2 or 3 years.
Joining us then this morning and taking us through all the latest there.